recommend anyone to put gas station cheese in their vape unless you want to end up with an iron lung or something. Instead, why don't I entice you all with gas station taquitos, chicken, buffalo, steak and cheese, or spinach artichoke if you're lousy as hell like Barack.
I wear the night like a second skin, a curse disguised as crown and sin. Your name's
hell like Barack. They look like something that fell out of a truck. The outside is fried drywall, but they slap and they slap hard. This is getting a freaking A tier.
I won't lie. These things are my guilty pleasure, and I couldn't tell you why, but I eat one and then I just can't stop eating them if they're around me.
Hell yeah, Barack. Finally, you sound like a real eater and listen, man. No one blames you for succumbing to these delicious little things. You eat one, and before you know it, you ate around 20, and you can't even tell because they don't even feel like real food. It just feels like you're eating a tiny snack. But they are amazing, much like with our next entry, because damn, some gas station slushies are to twerk for, man. Give me all that red 40, because a nice slushie on a hot summer day can cure anything and anyone, and it'll get an S tier, diabetes in a cup, but 100% worth it.
I'll allow this rating. It's most consistent thing in any gas station.
Didn't know I needed your permission for this. You know I was actually thinking you were a bit cool. But then you had to say that comment, man. Why are you acting all tough and hard when you know damn well no one here cares whether or not you'll allow something? Your word is barely above Joe's, and honestly, on some lists, it's lower than his. Either way, up next, we got the shrink-wrapped sugar bread that'll probably outlive your whole bloodline. Honey buns are so gas, though. And if you warm them up a little in the microwave and get you some milk while you're at the gas station. Oh my God, that is elite. And they deserve a solid A tier. They almost get placed higher. But I feel like this is a very respectable place to put these bad boys.
I microwaved one once and it melted, so I wouldn't say that they are that deserving of a high entry.
Well, how long did you microwave it for?
Only 10 minutes because I wanted all the sugar to crystallize and become hard, but instead it just melted with the plastic and I ended up eating some melty plastic-filled honey bun.
Joe, that body of yours is probably more microplastic than actual human at this point. I can't say I'm surprised, though, because every other normal person on this earth knows to only leave it in for around 10 to 15 seconds, man. Joe, you continue to amaze me with how you mess up literally any single easy task, and it amazes me every day that you're able to wake up in the morning and put on your shoes. Thankfully, though, we have something I know Joe can't mess up, and those are simple and delicious chips. I'm talking about any type of chips either, and these, of course, get a banging S-tier entry. Like it's really, really hard to mess up chips, but you know damn well you're getting one of these bad boys if you're stopping by a gas station.
I like to make some special meals with my chips. See, I make something called the Joe Gas Special, where I get my favorite bag of chips, some random sandwich, and maybe a roller dog, and what I do is I open the bag and squeeze all the contents of the sandwich and roller dog into the chips, and maybe I put in some mustard or ketchup if I'm feeling it, but I mix it all together and grab a spoon and start scooping that bad boy out. And it tastes just like a delicious chip salad.
You know I want to hate, but that actually sounds kind of gas. I feel like I've seen some people on TikTok do something similar, where they get random meat and toppings to put on their bag of chips. And I guess it all just depends on what flavor or type of chip you're getting. But aside from that, it seems great, Joe. Good job for once in your life.
I almost came from just hearing that, I won't lie.
All right, that's enough from you, man. Donald, can we just get on with the last entry?
You know what? After Joe's comment, I also want to leave, so let me go ahead and rate the gas station sushi up next. And listen, this goes straight to D tier. I don't know what anyone would have expected, but this is pure garbage, and any type of fish from a gas station sounds awful, man. And if you make it raw fish like sushi, well, you're just asking for it.
Yeah, and if you're in a big mood for some fish, why go to the gas station when White Castle has some delicious fried clams for sale, and you know that shit is going to be busting in your mouth?
God, Joe, you are truly despicable and repulsive.
What is going on, Gang-a-lang? We are back with another draft video, and this time we are going to be drafting Donald's favorite cheap soup, and that is the Maruchan ramen. And for today's draft, I will be going first. Joe will go second, and Donald will go last.
This is such bull, bro. Of course, we do the amazing ramen list for a draft video right when I'm the freaking last pick. This is sacrilege, bro. This is like telling a priest to wait in the back of the line for his communion wafer.
Well, they'd also have to put you in the back of the line for the wafer, because if they don't, your fat ass will literally eat everything.
Joe again, need I mention your butt disease?
Sorry.
Okay, well, I don't think that really matters right now, because what really matters is this draft, and let me just go ahead and get this started because you two waste too much time. So starting my draft off, I am going to go with the tried and true classic shrimp flavored ramen. Shrimp ramen typically tastes of a strong seafood flavor, often described as umami or savory, with a subtle hint of salt and other seasonings. And if you're a fan of seafood, you already know why I picked this one over all the others. Now, this is the only flavor that I have mainly used, and I am quite happy about that because the flavor profile on these bad boys is absolutely immaculate.
King of glaze over there. God, man, you just love to suck off whatever you're picking, don't you, Barry? And listen, I'm not trying to be mean or trying to upset you. I'm just hurt that you're over there sucking it off without the old Joe dog. I love me a good old-fashioned suck off, because when I'm slurping these noodles, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm sucking harder than any other sucker out there. But enough of my noodle sucking, because it's time for the Joe Dog's pick, and you all already know that I got to get me some roast beef flavored ramen with my first entry. I love me some mean beef curtains, and you goddamn well know that I'm going to love that flavor in my ramen. I'll be licking up that leftover stew like a kitty cat licking a bowl of milk and suck it all out of there.
The amount of times that Joe uttered the word, suck in that whole rant, God, man, we need a counter for that in the comments. We get it, Joe. We know you love to lick and suck. We also know that it applies to more than just the damn soups, and you don't need to tell us because, trust me, we all know. Well, now that the real eater is here, let me go ahead and get my entry in, because you all already know that Don is going to cook hard as hell with this. See, with my first pick, I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball in here. But trust me, the real eaters know I'm cooking with this, because I am going to select the picante chicken flavored ramen, because this is not only chicken ramen, which is absolutely delicious, but it's the spicy version, which isn't really that spicy, but gives it this nice and rich flavor to the broth, and thus your noodles. Like, call me a little Latino, but damn, this sweet heat gives me an amazing kick right in my taste buds and gets me coming.
I don't think anyone would call you Latino for liking a little bit of spice, Donald, but then again, I'll leave that to their community, which, by the way, they do not have raving reviews about you in general, but whatever. With my second pick, I am going to select the classic chicken flavor and not the spicy one, because nothing can beat the classics. If you want to add more spice on there, you can go ahead and do that. And if you don't want to, well, you still have a delicious ass chicken broth here for you that I know you will surely enjoy.
Baraka.
There are many legendary boats in Odyssey, but which one is the best? Let's take a look at that in this video, and I will of course also tell you where to get all the boats in the game. So if you enjoyed that, then I would be super appreciative. Now let's go. Because there are multiple playstyles in Odyssey, it means that there are 3 best boats for every playstyle. There are 2 boats though that feature legendary perks that I would recommend for every boat. The first one is Eros' bow, the best bow in the game overall, thanks to the 50% chance to not consume special arrow legendary perk. So not all your arrows are lost, so you can use your special arrows way more often, like all the time. And the system kind of sucks right now, where you have to go to the inventory menu to craft new arrows. Well, you have to do that way less often, and of course it saves you a ton of resources. The extra adrenaline per hit is also really good, making you able to do the super powerful hunter abilities again more often, like of course the devastating shot and the multi-shot. You find this bow in a cave in a fort in Messenia over here on the map. It's a level 35 to 39 region, so that is of course the recommended level to sneak in and grab it. But you can of course try to get there earlier and already grab the legendary perk, because yes, then you are able to engrave it on other bows even if you cannot use the arrows bow yet. This perk is even better when you are not the max level, by the way, because the resources will be way harder to come by, while on the max level you easily have enough to craft the arrows you desire. But yeah, either way, this Eros' bow stays the best compared to the other bows that enhance your hunter damage and that you can engrave this legendary perk on. We got the Artemis bow that you get from killing that boar I showed you in one of my earlier videos about the best weapons you can get early in the game. But since the Predator shot is not that good, like you will not use it when fighting alerted enemies, so that it's already like one legendary perk that was leveled abilities in the game, and I'm a big fan of that as an engraving on that one. Well, you also got another hunter bow in the Helix store called Fine Bow that you will be able to get in an Olympian gift from the Ecos of the Olympians store as well. And he might really, really good. You also have to get it from an Olympian in order to buy it. When Warrior Playful 42 or Late Warrior in order to buy it when it might be available one day. And again, I will keep you up to date on the weekly selection of this store starting October 9th. So on Tuesday, that is when the weekly reset happens. When I go for my Warrior playstyle, I use other legendary bows, mostly the Hades bow that you get from a level 44 mercenary. So again, because a ton of chaos around level 42 or later, then this guy will show up and he will be shooting a ton of fire arrows at you, so you are warned. Because that is the deal with this bow, like all the arrows are instantly fire arrows, and it also has the extra fire damage perk, making the burning damage over time even stronger. And I love to use this with my Fire Warrior on a Euphrates bow that has the legendary Bull Rush ability level 42 to 48, which increase perk onto it. But I don't really like to use the Bull Rush ability for the damage, so that already makes this one less interesting. By the way, find it over here on the map on the Tezos, a level 42 to 48 region. There is some plus damage for a charged shot, and that is nice, but again, the legendary perk is not that great, and as far as I know, there are no other warrior bows in the game, so that's why I would recommend the Hades bow for the warrior players. There are also a bunch of assassin bows, and I think I got, by the way, all the legendary bows in the game since I did all the 3 storylines, and also got all the legendary chests in the world. Anyway, we got Paris's bow, you get from an objective later in the family storyline that has 20% damage with the ghost arrows, and that can be nice for an assassin for sure to kill the enemy by shooting through the wall. And we got the Fanged bow as well that you can find over here in a legendary chest, and I want to thank Fragnart, a German YouTuber, for that one since he made a video on it, and that's how I found it. So he's a really good guy. If you are German, totally check out his channel. I will link it down below. This Fanged bow makes arrows instantly poisoned and also increases the damage. So it's basically the Hades bow, but then for poison. I think that fire in general is like better because it cannot spread, and in my experience deals more damage. You don't really want to like use poison damage when doing a stealth playthrough, so that's why I would prefer the Paris's bow and the Ghost Arrow enhancement, and that puts the 50% chance to not consume special arrows or extra devastating shot damage perk onto it. It kind of depends on what you prefer. If you, by the way, want the pretty cool hunter outfit that I've been using a lot in this video, the Artemis story quest, where you have to complete Odyssey. If you haven't already, I got way more tips and tricks in that looks and weapons, and way more on the channel and coming your way. Like this video to support the channel, check for some of my video on the best weapons you get from the different creatures in the game, and I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.
I do not smell you on this entry. See, the only chicken Joe likes is choking his chicken if you all catch his drift. I'm going to take a page from the Great Downs book and get myself some chili-flavored ramen because we all do need a little spice in our lives, and trust me, the Joe dog does not get nearly enough in all of his adventures. I will admit, though, that becoming a cuck has opened my eyes to a whole new world of pleasure, and I have to heavily recommend it. Because it takes a man to plow someone, but it takes a real man to sit down on a chair and watch another man plow whoever you're dating.
Joe, please keep this related to the food and stop trying to push your cuck lifestyle onto the audience.
I'm just saying, man, you got to try everything once to really know whether or not you like it. And man, oh man, did I try it more than once, right, Donald?
Joe, I can't even begin to put into words how much I disagree with your statement, and you calling out to me as if I'd agree with you is crazier than a Jewish person during Nazi Germany trying to ask the Gestapo for help. But man, let's just forget about Joe for a second and focus on my greatness, because once again, I am gonna cook. And I will be putting belt to ass on these two in this draft video, because my next pick is even better than Barack's original #1 pick, because I am getting lime shrimp ramen with my next entry. What's better than normal shrimp, you ask? Well, I tell you that adding some lime to that bad boy will amplify the flavor profiles by so much. I guarantee that you'll be busting at the seams for it.
Some people don't like lime, Donald, and maybe it ruins the flavor profile for them, so I am quite happy with my original pick. Thank you very much. Plus, if they really liked lime, they could just add it to the original shrimp soup, and they can even control how much they want, so it's actually an even better option to just go with mine. Either way, I took notes on our original ramen tier list from way back when, and I remember the comments absolutely frying your ass, Donald, because you put beef way too low, and my next pick goes out to all those comments because let it be known that I saw it all and I will represent you all with my next pick. Because I am choosing the beef-flavored ramen with my third pick in this draft.
Go ahead and have that shit, man. If you like dog food flavored ramen, then I guess you'll love Barack's pick. Go ahead and twerk all over that shit because the Don would rather wipe his ass with a thorny cactus than to eat that garbage ramen.
Well, Donald, you know what would help ease the pain from that cactus that you rubbed on your ass? Some cream, and some special Joe cream would do you even better, so definitely ask me and I'll send you some in a jar. But speaking of creamy, I am going to select creamy chicken with my next pick because I like the fact that it says creamy in there. Make it creamy and make it dreamy, and you'll get the Joe Dog seal of approval no matter what it is. It can be food, fart boxes, drinks, you name it, and I'll go ahead and give my seal of approval.
You can't just sneak in fart boxes and expect us to ignore it, man. Man, you are such a freaking odd old decrepit man, and I don't know how you even have an army of Joe heads. Either way, I'll go ahead and announce my next pick because I know that I said I'd wipe my ass with beef. But I never said that about the picante version of that flavor, so go ahead, my fellow meat lovers, and come back to the Don side. Papa forgives you for even thinking about going over to Barry's side, and I will welcome you with open arms to the correct side.
Bro couldn't even stick with his own opinion for a minute. Immediately had to flip his side just to get less flag. Reminds me a lot of his terrible tariffs.
It's called The Art of the Deal, fuck ass. Read a book for once, you meathead.
Sure, I'm the meatheadness. Well, I'll go ahead and pick up another W of an entry because I am going with the chicken mushroom ramen, and I am a mushroom twerker. I love the flavors they add when dried. If you add them to stews, they just soak up the flavor of the broth and are amazing on almost anything. So, of course, mushroom chicken ramen would just add an even stronger flavor bomb to everything and is a no-brainer of a pick for me.
Barry, you silly little man. The real no-brainer here was the Oriental pick because I am selecting that next, and I think you all know why. Those Orientals are some freaky people, and I've seen them do things online that I've never seen any other culture do. And I have to believe it's just because Orientals are freaky as hell and the Joe Dog endorses that behavior all the way. Like, I didn't even know that eyeball licking was a fetish, but hell, it just became one of my favorites after I saw the video online.
Donald, remind me to restrict his internet browsing again. He must have figured out the child lock password to his phone already.
I will gladly remind you because I don't think any sane and good person should have heard what Joe just said. I am actually disgusted, but I won't lie. I feel like I need to see that video once.
Donald, what the hell, man?
Man, let me just see it once, just to see how gross it is, and then I'll click off of it. But either way, we're at the end of the list, and this is a load of shit, man. Why the hell do you and Joe get an extra 2 picks? But I'm left with one less flavor of ramen.
Hey, man, I didn't make the list, so I don't know what you want me to say. Plus, I'm almost more than sure that you have gotten extras on literally every single draft video we have had. So thank God you finally don't get one, and the time you don't, you start to moan and whine.
I'm not whining, bro. Whatever, I'll just pick up the lime chili shrimp ramen with my last pick. It doesn't even matter anymore because this shit was rigged just like the election back in 2020. The comments will hear about this, and I will make sure that they stick up for me over this rigging. You dirty rigger. I hate riggers like you, Barack.
All right, man. I don't like how close that word sounds to the other word. Go ahead and complain because I will select the pork-flavored ramen to fully round off my list, and that, of course, means that Joe will have the last flavor, which is the roast chicken ramen, and that'll end up our wonderful draft.
Our terribly rigged draft.
No, this wasn't a rigged draft, man. You just have to get over yourself and realize that we go in an order, and you just happen to get unlucky. Can you accept that, Donald? You were simply just unlucky once.
Yeah, you're trying to gaslight me, bro, because everything you're saying now is what a dirty rigger would try to convince me of. You know I'm smarter than that, Barack.
I'm really starting to think that you aren't now.
Listen, let's settle down, fellas, because I don't know what all this talk about rigging is. But the Joe Dog does know one thing for sure, and that's that I strangely enough have some sort of yearning for Donald to call me a dirty little rigger and spank me.
Okay, we can't end the video off like that. We let Joe have the last word in almost everything. Donald, please, surely you have something good to end our video off so that our audience can have something other than Joe wanting to be spanked by you in the back of their mind.
Okay, how about this? Barack, and especially you, Joe. Please kill yourself. What is freaking going on, Gang-a-lang? We are back with another tier list, and today we are ranking the greatest snacks to have during a road trip. That's right. When you're stuck in a Honda Civic with 3 grown men and not a single one of them knows how to read a GPS, the only thing keeping you from steering into oncoming traffic is the sweet, sweet comfort of road snacks. And guess what? The Don is in charge today. So you already know I'm going to make the best damn list possible. Way better than anything Barack or Joe could do, and I don't care what they have to say.
Why are you already on edge, Donald? No one even disagreed with you yet.
I'm just setting the tone. See, this time around, we're being men. We're being snack warriors. And I'm not putting up with anything that anyone else has to say regarding road trip snacks.
I only agreed to this list because I thought we were going on a road trip. I packed a bag, booked a Motel 6, and stuck 3 Zins in my urethra for the drive, and instead I'm now sitting here with a huge stinging pain in my little Joe dog and still don't want to take it out because it's getting close to the point where it hurts so good.
Jesus Christ, Joe.
Well, ignoring that comment from Joe, we are going to be starting strong because up first, we got some candy, and I twerk real hard for some damn candy. It's the lifeblood of any good road trip. And I'm not just talking about a single kind of candy, no sir. This includes your Snickers, your Skittles, your Sour Patch, the mysterious weird-ass regional candy you find in the middle of nowhere like Come and Tag or something. Candy is versatile. You got chocolate when you're hungry, sour when you need a jolt, gummy bears when you're hungry, and gum when you're hungry, but you know you've had too much candy already, so you just have that instead. This one goes straight to the top tier. No debate about it.
I think it depends. Chocolate melts. I don't want to find a Hershey's tsunami in my glove compartment because the sun's been cooking the dashboard for 6 hours.
Then don't be an idiot and get candy that doesn't melt. What's next? You afraid of gum because it gets chewy.
Candy gives me the juice. I don't know what that means. But one time I bought a ton of Jolly Ranchers from this one dude in the gas station bathroom because I was getting tired during the road trip, and I ate 43 Jolly Ranchers in a row and forgot where I was for the whole car ride. And I swear it was like I was driving myself in third person, like I was in Grand Theft Auto or something. I ended up in Montana when I was supposed to be going to Nebraska. I don't remember how I got there, but I do remember the grape Jolly Ranchers had voices. They kept whispering to me about ancient crimes in the lost city somewhere in Des Moines, Iowa. So that's pretty cool. Shout out to all the viewers living in Des Moines, Iowa.
What in the ever-living hell are you even talking about, Joe? I'm pretty sure you took something else, and it was definitely not Jolly Ranchers, but I don't care about whatever thing you bought from the guy in the gas station, because we got cookies up next, and listen, these are tricky. They come in all shapes. Soft, crunchy, store-bought, homemade. Gas station cookies are a gamble. You either get the best bite of your life or a dry chalk brick that tastes like regret, and if it crumbles. Boom. Now you've got a Subaru full of cookie shrapnel. And guess who's getting blamed? The Don. Even if Joe was the one chewing with his mouth open and flinging crumbs like confetti because the goddamn man always is talking with his mouth full of food.
You're making some valid points, but I'd argue a soft cookie from a rest stop bakery can be elite, especially oatmeal cookies.
Oatmeal cookies. You better be talking about oatmeal raisin, because if you aren't, then you better shut the hell up. I'm still putting cookies in B tier. Solid, not spectacular. They're good, but only under strict conditions, and one of those conditions is Joe not being in the car, because you're either going to be disgusted or have an absolute mess in your car.
I once dipped a chocolate chip cookie into a vodka Red Bull and felt my ancestors. I saw a Civil War ghost scream at me and vanish into my Chevy Tahoe's upholstery.
Joe, what the hell is up with you and hearing voices and ghosts recently? The dementia is recently really getting to you, man.
The voices said you'd say that. I'm not surprised by your comment at all.
All right, Joe, go ahead and listen to your dumbass voices, because I can honestly care less. Anyways, up next, we got some popcorn, and look, I love popcorn. Movie theaters, carnivals, even some microwave stuff is good, but on a road trip. Now, man, that stuff is dangerous. You spill one kernel, and that bad boy disappears forever into your seat cracks. It's like they teleport. Popcorn in the car is like trying to eat glitter. You'll be finding pieces of it hidden so far and deep you could swear that it's a descendant of Anne Frank.
Wow, that is an insane joke to make, but either way, you have to admit, it's a light snack. It's not messy if you're not dumb like Joe, and it doesn't spoil. It's dependable. you're overthinking.
Now, man, I swear I am still finding some goddamn kernels in my car after our last ride with Joe, and the worst part is that it wasn't even a road trip. I was taking his ass to a goddamn Arby's, and he had the audacity to be munching on popcorn, and somehow I swear there is more on my car floor than there ever was in that damn bag he was eating. I'm putting popcorn in C tier. Great snack, but terrible road trip snack.
I love popcorn. Once tried to cook it on my thighs while sitting in traffic. Just poured the kernels right in my shorts and turned the seat warmer on high. Nearly got third-degree burns, but the popping soothed my soul, and sometimes it would bounce straight to my mouth. And it was a fun game to play while I was driving.
Joe, that's literally impossible. Seat warmers don't get that hot.
Yeah, that's why I called my guy Pablo to come and modify my rig so that it can have seat warmers that go all the way up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit.
I hear the name Pablo, and now I'm wondering if I should send ice over to his house, Joe. My illegal senses are tingling, but I'll get to it after the video because now we're getting to the war crime tier, and that's gas station sandwiches. You know what they are. Lies wrapped in plastic, much like Melania at times when she's on her period, because no one has ever eaten one and walked away feeling stronger. They're cold, wet and suspiciously sticky. And you ever notice how the bread is always wet, like I do not fuck with wet sandwiches?
I agree for the most part, but, I mean, if you go to a good gas station, then, you know, you got some good-ass sandwiches.
Okay, but for the most part, on a long-ass road trip, we're hitting up gas stations that are open 24 hours and are in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. And if you ask me, I'd rather deep-throat a traffic cone than eat an egg salad sandwich made by a 7-Eleven in rural Arkansas. This shit goes straight to D tier. You eat one of those, you're rolling the dice with God himself.
Speak for yourself. I once ate a tuna melt from a Shell station and saw heaven. Sure, my stomach was in deep trouble, and I was in the bathroom for a long while after eating it, to the point where I had to make a makeshift diaper out of plastic bags to carry on the road. But that tuna melt was to die for, and I would go back there again.
See, this is why your skin is gray. Joe, you are a man on his last legs. But you know what would actually be good for you, Joe? Some freaking beef jerky, because hell yay, this is man food. It's chewy, meaty, doesn't spoil, doesn't melt, and makes you feel primal. You bite into it, and suddenly you're thinking about the Oregon Trail and skinning deer and possibly going hunting. I swear this shit makes hair grow on your chest.
A bit too salty for my taste. After one bag, my tongue feels like it got sandblasted.
That's because your taste buds are weak, Barack. You're used to lettuce and kale and sad vegetarian tiers. Jerky is the fuel of the gods. This one is a clear S tier. No snack more road-tested than jerky.
My Biden poached eggs would beg to differ because those bad boys are delicious, and it's where I poach an egg in Everclear, and not only do you have some delicious eggs, but you also have some leftover alcohol in them that'll infuse with the egg membrane and get you drunk, and also provide you nutrition and thus being the best road-tested snack.
See, Joe, this is why you never drive my car, because I can't tell half the time if you're sober or if you're just being yourself. Either way, up next, we got Trail Mix, and this is an honest-to-God toss-up, because you either get a handful of greatness or you get the saddest handful in your entire life.
Okay, you're generalizing. A well-balanced trail mix can actually be one of the best things to eat while driving. You get carbs, protein, sugar. It's like a snack multivitamin.
Yeah, if you're trying to eat like a squirrel, I guess this could be an amazing entry, but I'm putting Trail Mix in B tier. Could be great, but the ratio of trash to treasure is way too high.
You know, Donald has a point. Sometimes it is delicious, but it's like gambling with food, which is exactly why I love it so much.
All right, Joe, that actually wasn't a disgusting thing you said. But now let me tell you about granola bars. This right here is the illusion of health. You think you're being responsible, like, oh, I'm watching my calories, but then you bite into one, and it's basically a candy bar with oats that got run over by a tractor. They're sticky, crumbly, and somehow always end up welded to your dashboard in the shape of a crime scene.
To be fair, they are a solid option if you don't want to stop at every single exit. Compact, energy-packed, and they don't melt. It's not glamorous, but it's efficient, much like a protein bar.
This is the problem with you, Barack. You think life is a spreadsheet. Road trips are about having fun and enjoying the scenery. Granola bars are this dry, chalky oat log that tastes like punishment. C tier, and that's being generous. They're emergency food, like apocalypse bunker rations. And if I wanted to feel like I was surviving in a nuclear wasteland, I'd instead just let Joe run for president again.
Why, thank you, Donald. I appreciate your endorsement, but you know now that we're talking about me. I once made my own granola bars, crushed up almonds, gummy bears, a bottle of NyQuil, and some cheese shavings. Baked it in the microwave and called it the Joe Bar. Gave it to some kids. They haven't blinked since having it because they liked it so much.
Joe, I think you might have poisoned those kids.
If you call having a good time poisoning kids, then yeah. Sure, one may say that I poisoned them.
For Joe, you definitely just ruined their brains, and they probably got their stomach pumped. But enough of that, because we're on to chips, and this is what I'm talking about. Chips are the road trip go. We're talking Doritos, Ruffles, Cheetos, Lay's, the weird jalapeno kettle chip, chips that taste like you're licking a hot Latina's fart box, and I love all of it. Chips are crunchy, satisfying, greasy in all the right ways. There is no greater joy than eating a whole bag of chips in the car while you ignore your friend's screams if you missed the exit, because you would rather finish the bag of Lay's than to turn your blinker on and get the exit.
I mean, I don't disagree. However, I do prefer the baked ones.
Or baked chips. What are you, on parole? That's like going to a strip club for the ambiance and food. No, we're not doing that, and chips go in straight to S tier.
Cheeto dust is the closest thing to Coke I've done in the past 3 days. Sometimes I snort it just to see if I still feel things. One time I got flaming hot dust in my eye while driving and nearly veered into a bunch of kids. But then again, it was their fault for crossing the street when the light was clearly red.
Joe, red means you don't go.
No, I'm pretty sure I had the right of way. I mean, the guy next to me honked, and I think he meant to flick off the kids. But there must have been one behind me or something because he pointed his middle finger towards me.
All right, Joe, you definitely should not be behind the wheel, but more importantly, I spot something that is finally worth twerking for. Dried fruit is the underappreciated hero of road snacks. It's nutritious, light, flavorful, long-lasting, everything a snack should be. Dried mango banana chips, apple rings. They give you sugar without the crash, fiber without the regret. It's the snack of the enlightened traveler.
I already feel my testosterone levels dropping just listening to this.
Call me soft all you want. But when you're bloated, sick, and constipated from inhaling 2 gas station hot dogs and a liter of Coke, I'll be the one comfortably snacking on dried apricots while my bowels sing like a gospel choir.
Trust me, no one wants to hear about your fiber-fueled bowel, Symphony Barack. And let's be honest, dried fruit sounds healthy, but is just fruit jerky, sticky, chewy, and somehow still manages to make your fingers gross. It only gets a B tier, and it's only because dried mangoes are twerk-worthy.
Okay, but Donald, can we please talk about the next item because it is my absolute favorite?
Joe, this shouldn't even be on the goddamn list. A vape is not a snack. And I know you begged for this to be on here, but come on, dude, this is pushing it.
Now, hold on just 1 second, Donald. This is a great item to be on the list. I am not addicted. I am committed. There's a difference. I vape with purpose. I vape for the nation. When I drive, I hit the vape so hard that the windows fog up like a haunted house. I've built up such a dependency that if I go 10 minutes without my mango cloud stick, my body starts shutting down like a collapsing Jenga tower.
You really shouldn't be proud of that, man.
I once coughed so hard from a watermelon ice hit that I astral projected into an alternate timeline where I was a successful surfer and married to a woman made of light. I miss her.
I don't even know what to say anymore. Vapes are not food. They're devices that make you smell like an anime convention. But as much as I hate to admit it, on a road trip, when you're trying to stay awake and not murder everyone in the car, I guess a vape can be something. But I am only allowing this because Joe would physically combust without it, and it gets only a D tier.
I accept that rating with honor. I will continue vaping with pride, patriotism, and overwhelming lung rot.
Don't forget about your ass disease.
You're stressing me again, Donald. Now I have to hit my Lemonhead flavored vape to relax.
What is going on, gang-a-lang? It's your boy Don, the man, the myth, the champion eater, and today we are back with another top-tier, gold-plated, juicy, thick tier list. And folks, this time we are diving face first into the world of fast food mascots.
Fast food mascots, baby. They help guide us and tell us what food we will bang out next. I swear that I saw Ronald McDonald more than my own father growing up, and I turned out just fine.
We'll debate that part later, but yeah, today we're ranking the most iconic, disturbing, and oddly seductive fast food mascots of all time?
Weird that you randomly threw in the word seductive there. But hey, I won't disagree. But that's enough talking, because I do not want to hear Barack's voice more than my own on this lovely tier list, because you all should already know that the Don takes very few things seriously, but when it comes to food, I will be as serious as a doctor telling someone they have full-blown AIDS. Well, let's start, and we will rate Ronald McDonald first. The Godfather, the greasy jester. This bad boy gets an automatic S tier. He didn't walk so others could run. He cartwheeled.
Ronald is marketing mastery. Red hair, yellow suit, big red shoes. You could spot him from a mile away. That man had brand awareness before influencers were even born. So I am quite happy with this entry, Donald.
Also, real talk, he is hot as hell. Like, imagine you're having a breakdown in a parking lot, and Ronald just gently offers you a Happy Meal and whispers into your ear. Something sensual, and you can't help but get a chub from how delicately he whispers into your head with his beautiful voice. And you can feel something brewing deep inside of you, and you can't help but recognize your feelings. It's for him, but before you muster up the courage to say something, he's already way ahead of you and inviting you to play in the play place with all the little kids, and you just know that you're about to have a wonderfully wet night.
Joe, no one wants to picture Ronald in any type of romantic setting with you.
Speak for yourself. I picture him that way nightly. He's just got that aura to him. That makes me want to tear him a new one, and he smells like happiness and barbecue sauce.
Joe, you have managed to make the most wholesome mascot sound like someone who should be on the sex offenders list with that play place comment earlier, and now you're just telling us you have naughty dreams about him. What the hell, man?
Okay, in all fairness, despite him being a legend, he admittedly does look like he belongs on some sort of list. But still, if you see someone ranking him lower, then they have to either really hate McDonald's, which is blasphemy itself, or they are just such big haters that they cannot recognize greatness. But anyways, next up, the creepy-ass plastic face royalty himself, the Burger King King. He's going to get a solid B tier. He's iconic but weird. I just don't like how he looks, but damn, you all know who he is.
He looks like he sleeps in his crown, and possibly with multiple other bodies. I do not feel safe whenever I see him on the TV.
He also definitely smells like dry onion shavings that probably fell into Lizzo's ass crack, and probably the smell of some man musk or some other powerful odor. And I respect that. I should know more than anyone else in the world that there's power in being unwashed. See in The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli, he famously argues that it is better to be feared than loved if one cannot be both. He posits that fear, especially the fear of punishment, provides a more reliable foundation for obedience and stability in a ruler than love, which is seen as more fickle and dependent on personal gain. The people fear yet respect the king, and he isn't even LeBron. Now that's some major influence.
Why the hell do we have Joe quoting books in our tier list? What the fuck sense does that even make?
I don't know, man. I'm just getting freaked out by that freaky smile. In a way, Joe is right, because I do fear him, and I think I'll be seeing that creepy smile in my nightmares later.
He's the kind of dude who'd offer you food with one hand and grope your ass with the other, without asking for permission first. And there's nothing you can do about it, because when you stare into his soulless eyes, you realize that there's nothing beyond the abyss, and it's an endless void of darkness. And I like that.
Feels about right. I definitely wouldn't let him near my kids.
I wouldn't. They need to learn what true fear is. That'll scare Hunter straight. And he will be a whole new man by the end of his encounter with the king.
Okay, well, Joe's weird obsession with the Burger King aside, we now have Jack from Jack in the Box, and Jack is what happens when you lose a bet and become a mascot, and he gets a D tier because, I mean, he just looks so goddamn stupid. Good burgers from them, though.
He's like a business executive, and a clown had a child and forgot to raise it.
He looks like he asked for ketchup packets just to eat them straight. No fries, just raw condiment chugging. But I think I like that about him, and I'd personally make this rating a lot higher because, as a professional swallower, I have nothing but respect for him.
Okay, once again, that's just odd from Joe, but, I mean, his head. He's literally a sphere with eyes. This seems too bland and boring for my liking, and at least we felt something from the other entries. I also just don't trust a man with a circle for a head. That's all I'll say. Something about it makes me uneasy.
Don't we all have circles for our head? That might have been the dumbest thing you've said, Barack. Well, with that shitty entry out of the way, we now have Wendy from Wendy's, and she gets a banging A tier because I would bang her. Barring that she's under the age of 18, she literally has it all. She's a redhead, has braids, square patties, and I can only imagine how soft her buns must feel. And the Don isn't just talking about burger buns.
And Here you are immediately just being a weirdo the second we get a girl mascot for an entry. I would expect this to come from Joe, but come on, Donald, I thought you were better than this.
Donald, don't listen to him because I smell you completely on this. I want her to tell me I'm not man enough for a 444 and then prove her right. I get a dominant aura from her, and I can already see her stepping on me with some of the biggest high heels you've ever seen and crushing my balls.
Can we not turn Wendy into a dominatrix?
I didn't turn her into anything. I'm merely describing her in the way that everyone else would have thought of.
Joe, she seems more like the type of person who is like one of those girls with some sass. But ultimately, they'll do what you want them to do. Like she'd be the same on to yell at you and absolutely tear you down, but then take you back no matter how bad you were.
All right, that's enough. Let's move on to the next entry.
All right, well, moving on to our next one. We now have Grimace, who also happens to be from McDonald's, and just for a second realize how amazing McDonald's is because they have multiple mascots and we haven't even touched on the other ones. But Grimace is the most iconic aside from Ronald and has to be a A-tier entry, no question about it.
He is love. He is comfort. He is gelatinous grace incarnate. And I can only imagine the things that I do to his soft and round tummy and the way his eyes would look into me. I know I'd be creaming.
All right, Joe, relax now.
You know, I used to think Grimace was stupid. Then I realized I just didn't understand him. Once I had his Grimace shake, I started to finally realize that there's more to him than what he leads on.
He once held me during a thunderstorm. Not physically, but I hugged my nearest plushie and pretended it was him, and that scary night turned into a sensual love affair.
Again, Joe, please relax.
I can't promise that because that Grimace has me begging for more.
Okay, Joe, we get it. You love yourself some Grimace and not just the shake. Either way, we have to move on because we have the Colonel from Kentucky Fried Chicken, and he is the man. We love his chicken, and he's iconic as hell, and even South Park had a whole episode dedicated to him where he was some big bad mafia boss, and that alone deserves an S tier.
He looks like he's about to politely ask you to join a cult, and I would say yes. No questions asked. If anything, the Joe Dog would probably pitch the idea of joining to him.
Joe, I think even if you tried, he wouldn't let you drink any of his Kool-Aid because no one wants to be near your stinky ass.
Listen, man, I'd do anything for him. I'd pamper him and treat him like a king, and I'd even let him father my children, even if it's biologically impossible. He'd figure it out because he's just that great.
Okay, that's some goddamn glaze, Joe, and he wouldn't want to have anything to do with your biological lineage. The Colonel has so many actually good-looking people to choose from, you'd be at the bottom. Below, but yeah, up next, we got the Pizza, Little Caesar's Pizza, and that's all this guy says. And somehow that's his whole identity, C-tier, because they definitely could have done more, but the pizza itself is to twerk for, but the mascot can definitely be more interesting.
Well, pizza to twerk for is definitely not something I'd 100% agree with, and it's something up for debate, but I will agree that the mascot is pretty mid.
Barack, do not freaking start right now, because I will crucify you if you ever dare try to insult Little Caesar's Pizza on another video.
Yeah, Barack, that Little Caesar's Pizza is what saves me on the streets and empowers me to do so much. It even saved me during a mental breakdown back in 2007.
Joe, I really don't want to hear about your mental breakdown in 2007, so we won't be doing that, and instead we will be moving on to our next entry, which is the Jolly BB, and this dude is electric. He gets an A tier. No debate, and I am more than certain that our Filipino viewers will throw their ass back for this entry.
I agree. What isn't there to like? He's a dancing, smiling bee in a chef's hat. Unironically adorable.
He's the only man who's ever looked at me and made me feel like I mattered. I once kissed a Jollibee statue in Manila, deeply, passionately. I heard music playing, where he kissed back.
Joe, what the hell is wrong with you? How have you managed to kiss at least half of these mascots, and how are you in love with all of them too? Like, I don't know if I would rather hear about your cuck stories or you talking about making out with fast food mascots.
Definitely.